Hey guys, welcome to CrushCarb, where we crush carbs, not flavors. You know what's hard to find when living a low-carb lifestyle? Tortillas that actually fit your goals. Most so-called low-carb tortillas are still made with wheat flour. And sure, the label might say low-carb, but really they're just smaller or thinner. Not really low in carbs. And for me, that's a no-go. That's why I started making my own at home. Homemade tortillas that are generally low in carbs and way healthier than the store-bought kind. Today, I'm going to show you how to make low-carb lupin flour tortillas, a recipe that I've come to love. I know some of you all have been asking for a nut-free alternative to almond flour, and so this one is especially for you guys. If you haven't heard of lupin flour is made from lupin beans. And lupin beans are low in carb, high in protein, and high in fiber. It's a great swap for things like chickpeas and beans, which are still pretty carb heavy. It is also a great alternative to almond flour for those that are allergic to nuts. So lupin is a great source of protein, fiber, and yet still very low in carbs. You can also use it for making pizza crust, pancakes, and tortillas like we are today. So let's get started. So we're going to start off making our dough. So I have here 3/4 cup of lupin flour. This looks very much like chickpea flour. That's why it's used as an alternative to chickpea flour. If you ever use chickpea flour, by the way, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So to this, we're going to be adding our dry ingredients. So I have here 1/4 cup of xylem husk powder. This is great for pliability. So you must add this to your dough. This will help make your dough pliable, and it will help you roll out the dough as well so you can make it stretchy and get that nice circular tortilla like we need. So I'm going to be adding my xylem husk powder, 1/4 cup. And then we're going to be adding 1/4 teaspoon of salt. This is needed just for flavor. It's good to have a little bit of salt in your tortilla. And so next we're going to be adding 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. This is crucial to help make your dough rise. You need this because just like I mentioned with almond flour in my previous recipes, lupin flour works similarly. So now you just want to whisk all these ingredients we have here, all of our dry ingredients. I do want to mention it's very important you whisk instead of just mixing it because you want to make sure that you're getting rid of all of those lumps because you want to form a dough, right? So you don't want to have any lumps in your flour, so make sure you are whisking it. These small details do matter a lot in cooking. So now we're going to be adding our wet ingredients. So first off, I have here olive oil. You can use avocado oil if you want to use avocado oil, but this is 1 tablespoon of olive oil, and you need to add this because it will help make your tortillas soft. And next, I'm going to be adding apple cider vinegar. This is just to help make your dough flexible. It will just give a better texture for your tortillas. So I like to add this, but you're just adding a really small amount, so it's just 1 teaspoon of apple cider vinegar, not too much. And lastly, to form our dough, we need to have water, right? So I have here warm water that I've already heated up on my stove. So you want to add warm water here because that will help form your dough, okay? It doesn't work like wheat flour or all-purpose flours. So you have to work differently here. You have to use warm water instead. And so all you need is just 3/4 cup of warm water in here. Okay, and now you just want to mix everything together until you get a dough formed. I'm going to be working with my hands now. Once you get mostly everything incorporated, you want to work with your hands so you can get the remaining of the flour that's left at the bottom to combine into your dough. Just using my hands to get everything nicely incorporated, knead out the dough. Alrighty, so our dough is ready. So look at that, it should look just like that. It's not entirely ready yet though. So once you get all your ingredients incorporated and get it mixed up and nicely formed into a ball like this, you want to let it rest for 10 minutes. And that is because we added xylem husk powder. Xylem husk powder needs to take some time for it to absorb the moisture. So you got to let it sit for 10 minutes so that it can work, because otherwise it's not going to work the way we want it to work, right? So you want to let it rest for 10 minutes. So you want to cover it with a plate or anything you want to cover it with. Cover it for 10 minutes, let it sit, and then you want to work on the dough. All right, so 10 minutes has elapsed. Okay, so we have our dough here. Okay, so now we're going to be making our balls from this dough. So I'm just going to grab a small amount of the dough and just going to combine it together with my hands, just like how you're making doughs, right? All right, so just like that, I got one ball ready. And like this, I'm going to be making my remaining balls. All right, so I got our balls formed here. So there's 6 balls that are formed from our dough. So you can see how nicely they're formed here. So I'm going to show you how to roll out your dough. So I grab one of the doughs and I want to add some water on here. So I have the water left over from before. Doesn't have to be warm or anything. I'm just going to add like 3 splashes of water on here. And the reason is because that the dough is dry. So you want to get the dough to be soft and also sticky as well. And that's what's going to help you roll out the dough. Otherwise, it's going to crack. So I'm just finding it just like this, just to get all that water to incorporate into the dough. And you will feel that the dough will be sticky. It'll stick to your hands a little, and don't worry about that if it does. You can add some oil on your hands if you want to, but don't worry, that's not a big issue. So once you get the water all mixed in, you just want to flatten out the dough with your hands like this. I like to work with my hands first because it makes it a lot easier. I'm like connecting the edges as well because they'll crack just a little bit. It's absolutely fine. It'll stick together with the water. So you just want to connect the edges and just keep flattening it out just a little bit. And then we're going to work with our rolling pin. All right, so I flattened it out with my hands a little bit, and now I'm going to grab my other sheet of parchment paper, and I'm going to put it on top of the dough, and then I'm just going to roll it out with my rolling pin just to flatten it out. Alrighty, we got our first tortilla, so look at that. Look how nicely it's formed. You see how it's stretchy a little bit, it's flexible. You know, that's why we added the xylem husk powder to make it pliable like this. And the apple cider vinegar helps to make it flexible too. So those ingredients are really crucial for your dough. So we got 1 tortilla down, 5 more to go. So here we are, we have all our 6 tortillas. Don't worry, they're not perfectly circular. Mine's are not either. These are homemade tortillas. The taste is just absolutely delicious, which is what matters the most. So I have here a skillet that I am heating up and it is hot. So I'm going to be putting in one of my tortillas on the skillet. I'm just going to cook it until it's brown on each side. I did forget to mention that when you're making your first tortilla, you want to make sure you lightly grease your skillet so that your tortilla doesn't stick on there. Because you know that we don't have any dry flour on this tortilla, so it's just sticky if you touch it, right? So you want to make sure that you just lightly grease your skillet so it doesn't stick onto it. Wow. Wow, look at that. The smell of these homemade tortillas, oh my gosh, just smells amazing. You know, you can use these for any kind of recipe, right? Like whatever tortillas you like to eat that you usually get from the grocery store, you can substitute it with these tortillas. And these are so quick and easy to make. Like, didn't take time at all. That's what I love about these. You can have tacos out of these. You know, you can be creative and eat whatever. So good. All right, look how it's rising. Look at that. Oh my gosh, that's exactly what you like from a fresh tortilla that's made at home. You know, I've told you guys about the almond flour tortillas I eat from Siete. Those are good, like, you know, last minute kind of thing, right? Like you came from a flight, you got home, you have to go to work tomorrow, you need a lunch. You can quickly make a lunch out of that, right? But the flavor you get from these homemade tortillas, it's just amazing. Just amazing. Oh my gosh. Look how it's rising and how it's getting brown. My mouth is already watery. Like I can eat this just as is. I mean, we have salt in it. It has flavor in it. So it is delicious. Oh my gosh. My mouth is watery just looking at how it's just rising. Look at that. Wow. This is just perfect. The baking powder is really crucial for this. That's why. All right, look how nicely it has rise. Oh my gosh, look at that. And my last one is done. Look at that. Lupin flour, low-carb tortillas are ready. Homemade, delicious, nut-free. So those of you that are allergic to nuts or don't like nuts, this is for you. Look at our tortillas. They look amazing. Oh my gosh. Look how soft these are. Oh my gosh. All those ingredients we added in the dough are crucial. Just look how amazing. And the smell of a homemade tortilla. Amazing. I can't wait to try this. Looks amazing. Wow. So soft. This is super delicious. The taste of the homemade tortilla, the flavor, because we added some salt in it too. And you can eat it by itself too. But what I absolutely love eating tortillas is with scrambled eggs. I grew up eating tortillas with scrambled eggs. They're so delicious. And it's just so good just as it is. You have to try this. If you enjoyed this recipe, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to CrushCarb. Try this out and let me know in the comments below how you liked it. So until next time, let's keep cooking, experimenting, and as always, let's keep crushing carbs.